I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty stoked on this thing. A few years back, Drake teamed up with the Rusty Toothbrush crew and came up with this, the Battle Rusty Snowboard. It is every inch the all-mountain destroyer. We're talking directional twin outline, a full camber profile, and a mid-stiffness flex. You know, you really don't have to reinvent the wheel to come up with something pretty special. Just picking the right ingredients from what's already out there and bringing it all together in your own way is sometimes enough. This winter is going to be the 10th anniversary since the Rusty Toothbrush crew first showed up on our screens, and their writing style has been the catalyst in designing this collab snowboard with Drake. The Battle Rusty is as good a street and park deck as it is a backcountry powder rocket. Hear me out, I'll explain why. Everything from its shape and profile to the board's construction and materials complement each other to create a proper utility tool for riding everything. Let's start with the shape. It looks pretty conventional, but man, this thing is wide. If you've already pulled out the spec sheet, you'll notice the W next to all three sizes, and in the case of the 163 version, it comes with a monstrous 279mm waist width. That is a lot of volume underneath your feet. But that can also be a very good thing indeed, depending on where you're going to ride it. It's near on impossible to get any boot drag when you're laying the board over its edge on the pistes, and you can imagine what that much surface area is going to do for the board's ability to float in powder. There's also a subtle taper between the nose and the tail. When you're riding deep snow, the tail's going to drop down and keep the nose floating nicely along the surface, and when you're back on the pistes, it makes for a pretty nice turning experience too. But when I say subtle, I mean it. The taper won't massively affect the board's switch performance, and you can tell that Drake aren't wanting to slash any of its freestyle potential. Take the blunt outline here in the nose and tail. It's definitely built with spinning and jibbing in mind. If you need any more proof of that, the camber is positive between the feet and starts to flatten off just around the inserts, so you're getting a board that's got popping and pressing right at the heart of its design. Starting to see what I mean? Well, let's take a look at the Battle Rusty's construction and materials, which once again brilliantly walk that line between a durable jib stick and a powder powerhouse. Running through the center of that aspen wood core in between the inserts is a carbon power beam that will give the camber some added ollie power and rebound when you're working it through a turn, but also crucially keeps the ends of the board more freestyle friendly. There's also some dampening in the form of urethane strips here along the sidewalls, and that works a bit like a bumper to protect the board when you come into contact with rails, boxes, or other potentially core-cracking materials around the mountain. The base is properly rapid. I think the last thing worth mentioning is how to choose the right size here. If you find you're somewhere between two options, think about the kind of riding you want to benefit most from. Go bigger if you're starting to take it into the backcountry more or wanting some extra power and stability and speed. Go smaller if you're going to be prioritizing most of your time with freestyle. But whichever way you look at it, the Battle Rusty is still a really effective tool for pretty much every job on the mountain. That's about it for me. Let me know what your thoughts or questions down below, and if you're wanting to stay up to date with reviews of more of our favorite snowboard products this year, make sure you subscribe to the Whitelines channel. Cheers guys, see you next time.